Hello guys, welcome to this video. In today's video, we are going to look at variables. How do we use variables and how do we declare them in our programs? How do we declare them and still we respect best practices? I know it might be early to talk about best practices, but it's important to know that they exist. And now, head over to your VS Code and open it and start from here and create a Python class called, you can name it anything, but I'll call it variables in my case. Variables.py. Okay, so before we start, what is a variable? Well, we can assign a definition to that, but we can say a variable is a name to a value or to an expression, as simple as that. So any expression or value that we have in our program, we can name it. And you'll see that expressions and values can take on different forms like functions, and we can give functions names, as we will see in other subsequent videos when we talk about functions. But it is important to note that we have functions that do not have names, but more to that later in other videos also. Now back to variables. Any expression that we have in our program, like I've said, must have a name. For example, we might be wanting to record your age or age of students. And now age becomes the variable name and the value is 23 for the variable. So that's how we declare variables. We can declare other values or other variables. For example, some people might want to print out that, but we will do that later. Let's look at other variable names that we can use. For example, if we want to record the full name of a person in our program, we can call them John Doe. I'll disable GitHub Copilot because I don't like these completions. Okay, good. So print full name. The full name is a variable name, we can see. So we now know how to run our Python. If you don't know, please go back to the previous videos in the playlist and watch how we run Python programs. But if you don't want to go back, still here, you can run from here. We just type the word Python and the file name, which is now variables. And we have our values printed out by calling the variable names within the print function. So that's what we have. Going back, we can also look at other possible variable names. For example, we can begin with an underscore, or I don't want to call it a dash, but it's an underscore. And we can call it maybe balance, would be your bank balance, and would take on some value. I don't know how rich you are, but assuming you have $10 remaining in your account. And on printing, the balance that we have so that's how we declare variables. But it is important to note certain things while declaring variable names. First, we cannot use numbers to start naming variable names. For example, we cannot declare our variable like 3 balance. The interpreter starts to complain, the editor starts to complain straight away. So you cannot, your variable name cannot start with a number like that. That's invalid. And we want to say that this is valid. We also, another thing that we don't want to do, we cannot have spaces in our names or in our variables. For example, full space name. And we can call this Peter. even this is invalid. So variable names should not have spaces. What else? We cannot have, for example, this might be tempting as you will continue writing programs. For example, print equals to 10. You're using a keyword to define your variable. And if we call print, look at how I'm using a built-in function print to assign it to a value. This is illegal, totally illegal. And let's see what the interpreter tells us. See, telling us that int object is not callable. And this is the error we are getting. So you cannot do that while declaring variables. But variables can take on anything. Variable names should be short but descriptive. For example, declaring a name like a variable, like student name. This is much better than saying name or student underscore name. This is not descriptive and really not good. So those are some of the basic rules we follow while naming variables in Python. And that's all for you guys in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe or like the video if you find it useful, and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment. It's really very helpful and I appreciate it. Helps the channel to grow and pushes the videos to other viewers that might need them. Thank you very much. Bye bye. See you in the next video.